Welcome back to Focus. There is little doubt that with all the shopping, parties, and family gatherings, that the holiday season can be a stressful time of the year for us. In fact, people, many whom we know, are recovering from alcohol and/or drug abuse and dependence. They face special challenges, including the temptations to indulge at holiday parties and mingling with family members who may not understand what they're going through. So let's focus now on substance abuse during the holiday season with Dr. Leonardo Lado of the Village South in Miami, along with Steve Klein from the Partnership for Drug-Free America. Good morning to both of you guys. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you for the invitation.
Let me start with you, Doctor. This is a particular time of the year where we don't think about those people in recovery. We invite them to parties, and there's alcohol flowing everywhere, and this is a big problem for them. So we should be really thinking a little more carefully before having those kind of folks over to a party and what we do, right?
Correct. I mean, that's one of the things that you can do for them, but also one of the things that you can help them with, for those who are really struggling and have failed, that there are now treatments available to overcome this brain disease. And I like to emphasize, as I mentioned off the air, addictions, it may be a disease of choice, but it also eventually becomes a brain disease. As much as obesity, we can say it's a disease of choice, becomes a disease. But that there are treatments available out there now that can cut that desire to use to help them recover with their emotional problems. Families create a lot of stress, memories, past problems that they had, but there is hope. That's basically, there's something that can help them.
That's interesting, and I know you're working with the Village South, one of the predominant treatment centers in all of South Florida, based out of Miami. And by the way, you were good enough to supply us with a couple of tips for the holidays that we want to put for you to take advantage of as you do your holiday party planning. First off, reach out to recovering persons and make them welcome. Yeah, they can also have a good time without substances. Avoid bringing attention to a friend's recovery or treating them differently. Another one, instead, offer to celebrate the holidays with that person over coffee and dessert. Again, that's just that good neighbor policy. Finally, as I had mentioned, provide safe party alternatives such as non-alcoholic beverages. I think that's wise. And Steve, I think you mentioned something earlier on behalf of the Partnership that this is a great time of the year, these family gatherings, to talk about drug prevention, right?
Absolutely. As we were saying, it's a great time to give yourself and your family a present. The influence of families, and in today's world, extended families beyond even to educators, the faith-based community, coaches, mentors, teachers, anybody who has a positive influence on somebody's lives. Get involved with your kids' lives. The studies show overwhelmingly that kids who are engaged on the issue by adult influencers, if you will, use significantly less. And I think at this time of the year, it's the perfect opportunity, if you're not talking to your kids, to get that conversation going.
Well said. We've been talking about for years here that parenting is the key to prevention. And Steve, I think you were telling me in the new creative, those great TV spots the Partnership puts out on TV, there are 2 new campaigns. Briefly, what are they about that we should be looking for?
Well, methamphetamine has reared its ugly head all across the United States, and the doctor can speak to the physiological difficulties with it. And a new campaign will be unleashed here in South Florida probably right after the first of the year. And the other issue that's growing on, well, it's growing, it's not on the horizon, it's here, is the misuse of prescription and over-the-counter medication. So hopefully you'll be seeing those spots on the air in South Florida very soon.
Indeed, we have to be on the lookout for that. Dr. Lado, why do addicts, those in drug dependence, often relapse so often? They come back, they fall off.
Well, the best medicine is prevention, and I think it's a great idea, and Partnership for Drug-Free America is doing a great job. But for those who did not make it and they actually use it, these drugs alter your chemistry to a point that makes you want a desire to use. It's very difficult to stop using this drug. This is called a crave. The thing is that you have to go through recovery, through groups, through therapy, and these things provoke a great deal of emotional problems that make you want to use again. But what if you can cut that crave? You've overcome 80% of the problem, and this is what I'm trying to say out here, that there is a new treatment protocol that helps you overcome this craving that make it difficult.
We're going to be hearing, I know, a lot more about that. You know, the American Psychological Association talked about recently, this is a very stressful, difficult time of the year in which they identify 6 top stressors that I think would even lead to substance abuse. They talk about money, gift giving, lack of time, I can vouch for that one, families, diet, children's issues. More than 1 in 5 Americans say they're worried the holidays will actually adversely affect their health. Could that lead to some problems with alcohol and drugs as well?
Yeah, we live in a society with so much high expectation upon us. We become so overwhelmed with all these things that yes, it can become a problem. The fact that the holidays associated to gift giving and that you may not have to give makes it very difficult for people to not have this problem and stress.
Steve, how do you, either personally or from the partnership prevention standpoint, how does one deal with this stress and not get into this point where they need some self-medication to get them through?
Well, that's extremely difficult, and I'm not a doctor. Fortunately, we have one right here. But I think the important thing is to maintain consistency. You know, when you're in the home, make sure that your kids know that they're appreciated and they're loved. And if they do run into substance problems, let them know that you're there for them. Let them know that you care and that it isn't hopeless, as the doctor said, that there is hope down the road. And just be there. I think that, you know, that word love, especially at this time of the year, is a huge influence.
Well said, and we want to always give you good information to focus on. According to a new study, as if this would be a surprise, cannabis, marijuana, can now double fatal car crashes. Marijuana is much more addictive than people have been led to believe all these years, right, Doctor?
Yeah, because the technology to concentrate cannabinoids is much higher. So an amount of a cigarette of marijuana now may have 10 times to 100 times the dose of active ingredient, because through genetics they're able to grow plants that produce more cannabinoids.
Interesting. For more information about this medicine that may take away addictions, go to www.overcomeaddiction.com. Call 800-700-SOBER. You might get more information on that. When we come back, Dr. Sean, right here from UPN and CBS 4, tells us about the food addictions in the holiday season. Stay with us.